Back again. Sorry for the last video at the end. It kind of went, something happened where the video froze and you heard my voice, didn't see me in the very end. You couldn't hear me and everything was there, went off the screen. So, very apologize for that. But what a great book. Like I said, get this book, right? The 16 Saviors. The 16 Saviors. The Rome ones was last copy, 100%. When you know that you know that you know, you know. But the vastness of what you're connected to is beyond a cultural thing, right? We talked about Mithraism, the different countries that had the same story, from Mithra to Zoroaster to Egypt to Samaria to all the different cultures in that area in the world had their ways and the way they did things. So we're just going to move on to the next. Sorry about that, but I'm going to record it that way. You're not going to get the end. I might even cut the last bit off when I do it because I haven't edited it yet because I'm doing these back to back. So I feel better, obviously, to do. I couldn't do one for 3 days, and I'm going to do two today. Right now, I'm at two, getting ready to start two. So let's get started. We're going to go in deep again. We're gonna share some stuff that is dynamic. All right. All right. We're going in today and talk. I said we're gonna talk heavy. We're gonna learn signs and symbols, right? I've mentioned it before. How signs and symbols, right, are very important. They're ancient. They're books within themselves. I had mentioned before on a secret society use symbols. They use handshakes. They use symbols, right? We see this from the eye. Let me take it. We see this, right, or this around the eye. We all think it's one sign, but we really don't know the fullness of what that sign is. It represents the eye. The eye of Horus is what it is. I put it here because that's really where it's at. But the reflections and refractions, like we talked about in the last video, you'll see, are there. So what we want to do is, a lot of times, I had mentioned this about Baphomet. We hear something, it's demonized by the last. This goes with what I said was with the religion. The last makes it seem like it's the only, and it never was before. And this is similar what we see when we demonize symbols, signs and symbols. We demonize them because the last one who promoted that sign and symbol may have did something or evil or promote evil. They promote Baphomet. Lucifer, which is, come on, what's Lucifer? Lucifer is Venus. Lucifer is very ancient before that book about. Just because somebody takes itself into Lucifer now, and there was a TV show on a few years ago called Lucifer, right? And he was a male. Well, we know in the past Lucifer was a feminine aspect, right? Lucifer, their song Venus, I'm Your Venus, talks about Venus with growth and freedom and doing things a certain way, right? Independence, growth, and freedom, but also letting your hair down and having some freedom. But the next day Saturn, which brings order, which means get your cups off my glasses, get your chair on the other side of the fence, kind of thing, bringing you order after being so much freedom that you kind of don't have it. But Venus is the five-pointed star. Why I'm saying this is that these signs and symbols, because a lot of people, they'll say, oh, that's Nazi and that's evil and that's the sign and symbol is so ancient that you can't put it in a box. And we're going to find that out right now. Let's see if we can get a little bit bigger with this. Can we? Please go bigger. Aha. So as you can see, as we look here, we see Arabian, Chinese, Phoenician, Hindi, and also English, and American Indian, early Christian. Origin of the swastika. Did you know the swastika was not always a Nazi hate? The swastika originated as an ancient religious icon with the cultures of Eurasia, symbolizing divinity and spirituality in Indian and religions. This is why you would see, I'm not going to go into that because this is going to gut it up, but I'm going to tell you what, when you look at spiritual in India, Asia, Iran, the reason that they're Aryans, they call them, I've met, there's this person that works with my wife that is from Iran, that's a doctor, right? And when in the conversation, when we went to this lunch, she said she was Aryan. Marissa's like looking at me like, ooh, what's that mean? And then I kind of, I knew what it meant. And then I've been deep diving for a bit about Aryan. So what you're going to see in the Aryans is there's a language called Indo-European. Indo-European. There's a whole historical facts there about the Aryans in India, in Iran, in China, in different areas. So I won't go fully into that. We're going just on the symbols. That will be for a later time when you're ready to digest this, because we're shaking things up. This world is not what you think it is. Again, this world's not what you think it is. Again, this world isn't really what you think it is. Think about that. There's a lot of illusion. In Hinduism, they call it Maya, illusion, right? But very good, very good, this one was very, 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 very good. I'm going to go back. So you've seen that. This one was that. As you can see, different cultures. All kinds of different cultures. How the world, you see how what that says right there, how the world loves swastikas. How do you guys see this? Hopefully I can get bigger for you and not go somewhere else I don't want it to go. And that's not what I want for sure. But anyways, here we go. Oh, okay, came out not bad. I wanted to see the whole thing, but I didn't want to see that. But notice, you got India, Russia, Germany, USA. Yeah, it was here. Native Americans too. Let me get this a little closer to me. As you can see, even Iraq, right? USA, Peru. These are ancient. Tibet, Anglo-Saxon, Poland, Navajo Indians, Korea, Iran, like I spoke of, Italy. So all these spoke of having that. I don't know what this is, so I'm not going there. I just wanted to see this other one. Let me see what this says on this side over here. Swastika symbol, right facing clockwise, left facing clockwise, counterclockwise, or swastika is an ancient religious icon in the cultures of Eurasia. This would be Euro-Asia, Europeans and Asian mix. I'll go in depth later on what this means. This ties a lot of stuff together. It really does. Its symbol is the use of divinity, spirituality, Indian religions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, in Western Europe. It was a symbol of auspicious and good luck until the 1930s. And that's a whole different story that I have been investigating too. Definitely not everything's the way we think that it is. So when you kind of look at this, not everything is like you think it is, and you're like, what is it then? That's kind of the way it is. We're going to go out of here, back into here. So you have the swastika, the original one. Let's go to Wikipedia and talk and see what it has to say. I'm going to move me out of my way. According to Joseph Campbell, anybody knows Joseph Campbell? He wrote a lot of books, did a lot of things, talking about imagination, very spiritual guy. He said, according to Joseph Campbell, the earliest swastikas from 10,000 BCE, part of an intricate meteor pattern, joined up swastikas found on the late Paleolithic figure of a bird carved with an mammoth ivory found in Mizene, Hurricane. So it was all over the world. You see Armenia over here, Pima over here. And as we go down farther, You see that it's down here. The investigators put forth hypothesis that the swastika moved westward from Indian to Finland, Scandinavia, and there's your Euro-Indian language. The Hindus and Indians, or the Euros and Indians, the Iran and the Indians. I can't say it yet. We're going to go there another day. I do want to say it, but I can't. We'll go there later. Let's see. A lot here. So you can see back down here, I'll point it right here. The word swastika comes from Sanskrit, swastikas, meaning conductive to well-being. So the swastika meant conductive to well-being is balance. That's why you have the four symbols, right? You have the going, it's almost like leg, arm, in balance, in a harmonious balance, standing up, being not lame, but being able to stand. Not needing a cane, but being able to stand. Very conductive. The Hinduism, the right-facing symbol clockwise is Surya, sun, prosperity, and good luck, while the left-facing symbol counterclockwise is called svastika, symbolizing night or trantic aspects of Kali. Dang it. I do not want to go down and up that fast. I want to be where I was at. Where was I at? Oh, Kali, aspects of Kali right here. I didn't want symbolizing night. So the other side of the swastika, the left side is the other side of the right side facing, leaning, meaning yin and yang, right? It also, something else that you've seen the word tantric, I've seen in here, right? I thought I read the word tantric, facing clockwise called swastika, aspects of night. In Jain, it represents the seventh. How come I thought I'd seen tantric? I didn't see tantric in here. No, not yet. Okay, I thought I did. The word swastika comes from meaning conductive well-being. In Hinduism, the facing symbol clockwise is called swastika, symbolizing Surya, sun, right? The sun, and good luck. While the counterclockwise is called svastika, symbolizing night or tantric aspects of Kali. In Jain symbolism, it represents Supar Vanta in the seventh of the Tirthakara, spiritual teachers and saviors. There's your word again when we talked about on our last one with the saviors. While in Buddhism, it represents auspicious footprints of Buddha. In several major Indo-European religions, the swastika symbolized lightning bolts representing the thunder god and the king of gods. And Indra, it would be Vedic Hinduism, Zeus in the ancient Greek, Jupiter in ancient Roman religion, and Thor in ancient Germanic religion. The symbol is found in archaeology remains of Indus Valley. So there's a lot to read here, and I'm not going to just keep reading into it. I could. It is pretty interesting when you go down a little farther, when it gets into some of the other stuff, like here's some more symbols. Like here's the Hindi swastika, the Bengali, right? In South Asia. Let's see if I can do this. Just Iraq, Pakistan, go down a little farther. Necklace from Iran. Historical. So there's a lot here to this, right? Move me out of the way, we'll read this, and I'm going to show you a video after this. Did you know that the swastika was not always the origins of the swastika, always a symbol of Nazism and hate? The swastika originated in an ancient religious icon within the cultures of Eurasia, symbolizing divinity, spirituality, and Indian religions. The swastika is an icon widely found in modern historic artifacts, including items or remains of the Indus Valley civilization, Mesopotamia, and early Byzantine Christian artwork for Western cultures, right? It was a symbol of good luck, auspicious until the 1930s. It was adopted by, of course, Germany, Nazis. Germany already had it. Their ancients had it because it was all over there. It was seen as an Indo-European symbol of Aryan race identity. Thus, yeah, I don't want to go deep into that because I'll go off key into some other stuff if I do. Some other stuff I found out. You always can't believe what you're told, especially them who think they're telling you really news for your best beat. That I just know some things just gotta have to prop all the time, right? Stop there. Symbols adopted. I remember seeing the symbol actually on some kind of mail stamp somewhere in some country a while ago. It was actually one of the stamps was a swastika. Trying to get past all the Nazi stuff, and the last one doesn't. So we're gonna go out of there. Here's where we're gonna go. I want you guys to watch this little video with me. We're just gonna play it a little bit. I won't play the whole thing. In fact, I'm gonna start just a little bit back, and then we'll go from here.
A royal court, and was intended to cast away evil, draw in prosperity, which is of course an oversimplification of what's happening. But for now, let's just say that it was part of a much wider Korean mythology concerning chi.
I'm going to stop real quick. This is Robert Seffer, who's an anthropologist. And he's one that has kind of left the academia because he sees the agendas and he wants truth. And he's doing his own thing independently from it now. As definitely somebody that's put me up and on some stuff and definitely. So I appreciate, go ahead and play the video and watch some of the stuff you're going to see here.
Yong, who incidentally is son of the Dragon King of the Eastern Sea. So the dance is bound up in many ancient understandings of Korea's history,
this is Korean.
Traditional dress, attitudes to medicine, the roles of wooden masks, the symbolic properties of colors and flowers, and the important role of the 5 elements in creating balance, harmony,
Just did that real quick for a second.
and of course health.
So I can know how I can.
Korean Buddhism is distinguished from other forms of Buddhism, having developed a new, integrated, and holistic approach, a unique spiritual identity. When Buddhism was originally introduced to Korea around the time of the unification of North China in 376, or about 800 years after the death of the historic Buddha, shamanism was the indigenous religion in what is now Korea, resembling the beliefs of the Celts and Germanics, which emphasized natural elements such as fire and water. As it was not seen to conflict with the rites of nature worship, Buddhism was allowed to blend in with shamanism. Thus, the mountains that were believed to be the residence of spirits in pre-Buddhist times became the sites
Look at
of
that.
Buddhist temples.
See that?
These early original inhabitants of Korea are thought to have had cultural and ethnic or racial affinities with the Ainu, who in historical Japanese texts are the indigenous people of Japan and parts of Russia. Many Ainu today have been completely assimilated into Japanese society, adopting its identity and citizenship, and as a result having no knowledge of their own ancestry. Descendants of the Ainu are relatively easy to spot for anthropologists. They tend to have lighter skin, more body hair, especially facial hair, like long beards, and higher bridged noses than most Japanese. It's ironic that while some Japanese tend to look down on the Ainu as a sort of second-class citizen, skeletons of about 1,100 Japanese, Ainu, and other Asian ethnic groups have concluded that the revered samurai of Japan are actually descendants of the Ainu, not the racial stock from whom most modern Japanese are descended. In fact, Hiroshi Ashima, the former Japanese ambassador to Germany, believed that the noble caste in Japan, the daimyo and the samurai, were descended from the gods of celestial origin, which was similar to the Nazis' own belief that the Nordic race did not evolve but came directly down from the heaven to settle on the Atlantic continent. Anthropologist C. Loring Brace of University of Michigan said, and I quote, "This interpretation also explains why the facial features of the Japanese ruling class are so often unlike those of typical modern Japanese. The Ainu-related samurai achieved such power and prestige in medieval Japan that they intermarried with their royalty and nobility, passing on Jomon Ainu blood in the upper classes, while other Japanese were primarily descended from the Yoi," end quote. Of course, this also explains why so many Korean face masks, which I said earlier were...
This is very interesting. As you see, that a lot of what we haven't been taught in history, we've been taught a lot of separation, and people were migrating everywhere. And when you migrate everywhere, the mixing of people marrying somebody what we call other races or other color skin or whatever has been going on so long. It's been going on a long time. It's not nothing new, right? It's nothing new at all. And then you see these swastikas in every aspect of almost every culture. And I take it off now because you can get copyrights. I don't know if they would, but if you take it off, then you can go back on.
Associated with divinity, ancient gods, are depicted with long, thin noses and facial hair. Indeed, the Ainu are a most interesting enigma, but not nearly as interesting as the native inhabitants credited with occupying Korea and Japan before the Ainu.
Anthropologists called them Asiatic Caucasoids because they had facial features and body hair that seemed more European than Asian. In fact, the Ainu are thought to be a remnant of a very ancient population that was once widespread in the old world.
This is 28,000 years from China.
What we know of these early Asians is based on just a few skulls.
It's one of the earliest anatomically modern Homo sapiens in Asia.
One of them is a 28,000-year-old specimen from China, which looks very much like the 9,000-year-old spirit caveman.
And there are some marked similarities in the facial architecture.
Tremendous similarity in the shapes of the eye orbits in the sense that they're both somewhat rectangular, similar interorbital distance, overall appearance of the orbits, the shape of the nose. But many of the features, including the very heavy mandible and the prominent symphysis here, those features are very much the same.
A growing number of scientific discoveries across Asia, such as the massive pyramids and 4,000-year-old blonde mummies of China buried with swastikas, have been providing increasing archaeological, genetic, and legitimate academic support to the ancient Asian myths and legends, such as the Son of the Dragon King, which proposes plausible and likely alternatives to the obsolete, politically motivated dogma concerning human origins or hybridization and population dispersal. My name is Robert Sepper. I'm an author, producer, and anthropologist who works independently.
This
All right.
AI tool will take your idea and create a complete book, complete with design.
All right, you guys. I wanted to share that little video. First time sharing a video. It's definitely showing us that things are, like I keep saying, not everything appears to be what it is. For some reason, we're sharing a lot of stuff that, do your research, look into it. Don't take every word as being what it was from every aspect of what you think. For the many of you here that are awakened, use your awakening, use your spiritual knowledge, use your intuition, use all those things that you have available to you to use, because they're honestly that's what's going to carry you to the next level and get you where you need to go. Don't accept anything. Most everything as I've read before, remember esoteric and exoteric. The exoteric was to keep you outside for the public just to get it. The esoteric was for the inner circle. Come here, inner circle. They don't need to know. Example, when Jesus was asked that question, when he took the disciples to a higher mountain, it said, right? He said, one of the disciples spoke up and said, hey, what about the people out there, the other people? He said, it's not, they're not supposed to know. This is for you to know the mysteries of the kingdom, not them. Meaning that's kind of like what I see in that would be a mystery school initiation. He took them to a higher place and consciousness, because if you could use those allegories, and it was an initiation plate for the initiate. Many of us haven't had the initiation. We're getting the initiation from the initiate within us. We're going through trials, tribulations, awakenings. Next level, we go up and we really start getting more light. We start seeing ourselves more clearly. We start focusing on expansion within ourselves, and we're being initiated. Because how do you know you're being initiated? You pass your tests. And I'll leave you at that. This is D-Boy, West Coast Uncensored. Be open-minded. All right.